Okay, so right off the bat, I'd like to apologize for the janky makeshift lighting and setup location thing that I've got going on here. I'm home for the holidays, so I'm not at the studio space that I normally film at. 3.5 hours away from it, actually. And I don't have all of my equipment with me. I only brought home with me what I was going to bring to CES. So if you want to see a video actually about the gear I'm bringing to CES, stay subscribed, that's coming soon. But anyways, so yeah, I'm just kind of making do with what I have for now, trying to make it work. But I think this is a more casual video, just me talking about ideas. So I think it should work. So I've been thinking a lot lately of if I could design my dream laptop, what would it be? Like not just like physical design, but also like specs and stuff. So I also wanted to make it realistic, like something actually feasible, not just putting in like 100 cores and like just basically like a supercomputer in a super thin chassis. Like, no, this is realistic. I'm a computer engineering student. Like, I want to do something that's feasible. Also, because if I do something feasible, then maybe a company will actually make it. What I've come up with is a sort of fusion between the HP Envy X360, which is currently my daily driver. I've made a few videos about this that you should go check out. So a fusion between this and the 15-inch MacBook Pro, actually. So I'm not the biggest Apple fan. I don't own any Apple products, but I have to give credit where credit is due. The MacBook Pro, the current lineup, is very elegant looking machine. I'm gonna say it. So a hybrid between this and that is kind of my dream laptop. So keep that in mind while I'm talking about specs and stuff. That's kind of the design I'm going for. But I'll talk more about the physical design. I'll show you guys actually how to make a 3D model. I'll show you guys that later in the video. So first of all, CPU. Currently I have a Ryzen 5 2500U, so 4 cores, 8 threads, 2 to 3.6 gigahertz, 15 watt TDP. I want something a bit better than that. So my theoretical processor is some theoretical Ryzen 3000 series processor based on the Zen 2 architecture, which is not out yet officially. So any of this is just kind of based on speculation or the limited information that we have about it. But I think this is feasible. So I think that if I bump up the TDP from 15 watts here to 25 watts, and I go from Zen Plus architecture to Zen 2 architecture, which Zen 2, from what we know and what we're speculating, is much more efficient than this and also can more easily reach much higher clock speeds. So I think I can get a 6-core, 12-thread, 2.5 to 4.5-ish gigahertz processor in only 25 watt TDP. So bumping up TDP, giving me a little more headroom and also the efficiency of Zen 2, but I'm not going too high. So again, I mentioned kind of design of the MacBook Pro. Earlier there was some issues with the 6-core processor in that laptop, thermal throttling. That's a 45 watt TDP, thermal design power. So going down to 25 watts, it's still, it's more than 15. It's still giving me a little more headroom, but it should be a lot easier to cool in a similar chassis. So yeah, I think the 6-core, 12-thread, 2.5 to 4.5-ish gigahertz, 25 watt TDP CPU, Zen 2 should be easily feasible and should actually prove to be very powerful. GPU-wise, instead of going with the integrated Vega graphics or whatever, I'm actually upgrading to a legit GPU. So an RTX 2050 Ti, which again, it's not out yet technically, but it will eventually. And again, it's realistic, so I'm trying to find a good balance of low power and high performance. So I want something that's better performance than this, with more VRAM. So I think it's probably gonna end up having, like 4 gigs of VRAM? It should be a good amount. And it should be a decent GPU as well, but it shouldn't really consume much power at all. Should be very low power chip. So that's what I put in there. So yeah, and also we know the MacBook Pros currently with their batteries and their cooling systems are able to have a CPU and a GPU, and this one is going to have a lower TDP CPU, so it should be able to cool all of this and power all this, no issues. And then I'll talk more about the battery in just a bit. So for RAM now, 32 gigs DDR4 dual channel, because why not? SSD up to 2 terabytes NVMe, because why not? These are things that don't really impact things like cooling or power consumption, like they're very easy to put in. We have them in machines. Also, I'm banning 2.5-inch drives completely. So this laptop has the option of putting in a 2.5-inch drive for additional storage. I'm getting rid of that. That space can be used for extra battery cells. NVMe, M.2 SSDs, NVMe all the way. It's much faster, much better. That's what I'm going with. So battery. So I'm putting in an 85 watt hour battery because I think in a similar chassis to the MacBook Pro, that should be feasible. MacBook Pro has about 85 watt hours in it currently. So this laptop, the Envy, has I think it's like 58-ish, something like that. So bumping up to that. Okay, yes, it's the CPU is gonna consume a bit more power. It's 25 watts. Yes, I know TDP, power consumption, not the same thing, but higher TDP does lead to higher power consumption. Fight me. And also adding in a dedicated GPU, it will consume a bit more power, yes, but it's also a much bigger battery. It should have great battery life. Screen, put a 15-inch. I like 15 inches for a laptop. I like it on here. It's good. Touchscreen, I like it. 4K. This is one of those areas where I'm kind of compromising, but also choosing the feature route that works best for me. RTX 2050 is not going to be a 4K power card. But the only games I really play are like League of Legends, CSGO, which 4K, even max settings, should not be an issue on that card. I've been able to play 4K medium high settings on my old GTX 950. So 2050, not an issue. But then having that high resolution will benefit me a lot for things like video editing. Yeah, and then also it's convertible because I don't use it often, but it is nice to have when I do use it. Other things, so webcam, there's no reason to have a crappy webcam. All laptops have crappy webcams basically, and that's just ridiculous. We have phones with tiny, really good front-facing cameras. Just put that in a webcam, add some IR sensors for Windows Hello Face Unlock. We should have a great camera situation. I/O, I would put 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, or four USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C ports, because I'm a firm believer in USB-C all the things, so Type-A is not necessary. Especially if you can charge the laptop, USB display, Thunderbolt even now. Yes, again, I know AMD doesn't technically support Thunderbolt, but from a hardware perspective, there's no reason it couldn't. Intel's just saying no because they want to make it exclusive to their products. But if Intel let AMD, you could have a Thunderbolt with an AMD CPU. There's no reason why you couldn't. So if you have that, I don't personally feel the need for USB-A, also because this laptop couldn't fit USB-A. Again, it is very similar in design to the MacBook Pro. So yes, 4 USB-Cs, good with that. But then also a headphone jack because that's necessary. And an SD card slot. That's the one thing I think is missing from the MacBook Pro. An SD card slot, which for video editing, that's gonna be vital for me. So that's what I put I/O. So now, okay, a bit more on the physical design. So I mentioned it's like the MacBook Pro, and I've been mentioning that a lot, but also a lot like the HP Envy here. So there are some things that I do like about this. The spine and the hinge here, I really like how it's like silver. It's also kind of like slanted. I find that very elegant. I really like the color of this, and I like the corners, how they're rounded, but they're still kind of rectangular. I don't know, it gives it a kind of premium feel so they're not too rounded there. But then there are some things I don't like about this laptop, like this fake wedge. So it's actually only like 1 centimeter of actual like tapering on the edges. For most of the laptop, it's the same thickness, but because of this tapering, it makes the side panel look like a wedge. So it's a fake wedge, but you're not getting any of the actual benefits of a wedge as in thinner laptop. So what I would do is I would not do a wedge. I would have the more rectangular boxy design of the MacBook Pro because one, I think it's a better use of space. You get a bit more internal space along these edges for things like a battery. It's not much, but that little bit can help. It's also, I think, a much more elegant, it's a sleeker, simpler, more elegant design. For the body of the laptop, I would choose the body of a MacBook Pro. And again, as I mentioned, I/O, you can't fit USB-As, you can fit USB-C, SD card, all that stuff. So that's no problem. It's thin, it's light, it's great, but it can still fit things like battery and cooling. We know that because it exists in the MacBook Pro. So body-wise, I would basically just take the body of a MacBook Pro, add in an SD card slot. But then on the 3D model, so you guys can see the vents I modeled more off of the Envy, because one, that's all I really had on hand for reference. And two, I think it looks like it would provide more airflow, and more airflow is more better. So yes, because yeah, again, even less cooling issues there. So yeah, body of the MacBook Pro with the vents of the Envy, the color of the Envy, because I just really like this color. And then also I added the spine and the hinge of the Envy. So you guys can see in these pictures up here what it would look like. I think this is a very elegant looking design. This is darn near perfect laptop design from what I think. Obviously, I'm not an expert in CAD or design or laptops or anything like that. This is just what I think would look best, but I think this form factor would still be able to realistically support all the specs and features that I've listed previously, because again, we've seen things like the MacBook Pro being able to do it. So it's still realistic, but it's still a very elegant, beautiful design. Yeah, it took me a long time to make this model. I'm very bad at CAD and modeling. I use Autodesk 123D Design because that's all I know how to use. If you want to download the 3D model, the 123D Design files, or any of the pictures, they're all linked in the article, which is linked in the description below. But yeah, that's kind of just the design that I would have for my dream laptop. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything, thoughts, definitely leave a comment down below, or you can even tweet me at SolidStateTweet. And again, if you follow me on Twitter, you would have gotten all of this article and images and everything a few days earlier. So you should definitely follow me there. But yeah, that's really all for this video. That's what my dream laptop would be. I guess just a quick recap: 6 cores, 12 threads, 2.5 to 4.5-ish gigahertz, 25-watt CPU, RTX 2050 Ti, up to 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, 85 watt-hour battery, and a 15-inch 4K touchscreen display. Oh yeah, and one more thing. When the laptop is open, like the keyboard and speaker layout and stuff, I did not model because that would be a nightmare for me. So just imagine it's like this, but with a bigger trackpad. Because I like this keyboard, I like this speaker grill, I like how this looks, but a bigger trackpad, because why not? So yeah, yeah, that's basically it. That is my dream laptop. If I could design a laptop, that's what it would be. If any companies are out there who want to actually make this a reality, I don't know, maybe like AMD, HP, Dell, anyone, hit me up. I would love to have this be a real product. But in any case, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Stay subscribed for more cool content like this one. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. That's probably what I should have said. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next one.